Chapter 3. Breakfast is terrible. Dad and I aren't speaking. Anna talks enough for both of us, chit-chatting to try and pretend this is a perfectly normal morning. Eggs is intrigued and delighted by all of this, and asks endless idiotic questions about Ellie's boyfriend. He is not my boyfriend. He is just a boy in year 11 I happened to meet yesterday, and we had a good long chat about art. And a long, good encounter in the park afterwards, says Dad bitterly, breaking his silence. Please, says Anna, nearly in tears, don't talk to Ellie like that. I'll talk to her how I damn well please, says Dad, pushing his plate away and standing up. She's still a child and she is going to have to learn to do as she's told. She's not staying out till all hours. Dad, I was home at 11:20. Heaps of girls in my year stay out till way past midnight. I don't care what anyone else does, although from my conversation with Nadine's parents last night, it was all too humiliatingly clear they were obviously appalled. It was evident that Nadine would never behave like that. This is so infuriating, if only they knew. Last term, when Nadine had this thing with this total creep Liam, she sneaked off and saw him all the time, and she lied her little head off to her mum and dad, forever making out she was round at my place or Magda's. But obviously I can't tell Dad this because I don't want to tell tales on Nadine. So I just sigh deeply and tap my fingers on the table, acting like I'm too bored for words. This winds Dad up so much he starts really yelling at me. Egg stops thinking it's funny and hunches down in his chair, sucking his thumb. I start to feel scared too. Dad's acting like he really can't stand me. I just don't get it. Why does he have to be so horrible? I try to stare him out and act like I'm not even listening, but my throat hurts and my eyes have gone all blurry behind my glasses. Will you please stop it, says Anna, standing up too. You're frightening Eggs. Dear God, you're frightening all of us. Now please, go to college. We'll talk about it tonight when we've all calmed down. I'm out tonight. There's a faculty meeting, says Dad. I'll have a sandwich at work and go straight on to the meeting. I'll be back around 10. I shall be out too, seeing Russell. Dad's staring at me, and it's as if his mean narrowed eyes can laser through my skull and see what's in my mind. You're not allowed out, Ellie. You do understand that. You're completely grounded. Oh, please. What a stupid expression. Grounded. It's like something out of prep school. This is a clever diversionary tactic. It's always the easiest way to score points off Dad. He likes to act like this ultra-lefty alternative guy, and yet Grandma and Grandpa are ultra-straight-laced and right-wing and posh, and Dad got sent right through the public school system. It's something he's very embarrassed about. He does his best to talk down, but the odd little phrase creeps into his conversation every now and then and betrays him. You might find the expression stupid, Ellie, but I trust you understand what it means. I'm not allowed out, right? That's right. Not at all? Not at all. Oh, great. I can't go to school then, can I? So I'll just go back to bed for a nice long snooze. Ellie, acting like a 6-year-old is not going to convince me that you're old enough to stay out half the night with strangers, says Dad, and he walks out of the kitchen. He doesn't say goodbye to me. He doesn't even say goodbye to Anna and Eggs. He just stomps out of the room, still acting like some Victorian control freak dad, like he's Mr. Barrett of Wimpole Street, and I'm Poetic Elizabeth. Only I'm not reclining on a sofa, I'm on a hard kitchen stool, and I'm not about to elope with my romantic Mr. Browning. Russell and I are hardly at the eloping stage. I don't know whether he writes poetry or not. I don't even know his second name. But I'm going to find out. I'm meeting Russell tonight, if it kills me, and Dad very likely will kill me if he finds out. I don't tell Anna my plans. She might well ring Dad up at work and tell on me. She's acting like she's really upset. Don't mind your dad too much, Ellie, she says anxiously. I won't, don't worry. That's not what I meant. Oh, Ellie, I wish I knew what to say. It's so awful. I can see everyone's point of view. I think your dad overreacted, but you were very, very rude. I open my mouth and she shakes her head. Don't say any more, Ellie, please. You've said more than enough. I feel mean. I know I shouldn't have put in that cheap dig last night about Dad playing around. A while ago, Anna did get ever so worried that he might be having an affair with one of the students at the art college. I suppose it's not surprising she worries because Anna was once at the art college herself. That's where she met my dad. He is out an awful lot, though he's always got some excuse, like this meeting tonight. If I were Anna, I'd really have it out with him. But she always likes to pretend everything is perfect. She doesn't stand up to Dad the way she should. I haven't always stood up to Dad either, but now I've shown him he can't bully me. I'm sorry I said some of that stuff last night. I didn't mean to hurt you. It's just him, I say. He can't treat me like that, giving me his orders. You are his daughter, Ellie. That doesn't give him an automatic ownership of me. You might let him walk all over you, Anna, but I'm not going to let him do it to me. And with that Supergirl swoops out of the kitchen and gathers up her school bag. You haven't finished your breakfast. I grab my toast and say I'll eat it on the way to school. I'm in a hurry, I say, and dash off. I'm not in a hurry to go to school. I'm in a hurry to see Nadine and Magda and tell them everything. But by the time I make it to school, the bell has already gone, and Mrs. Henderson, our form teacher, is in a right mood this morning. When I get Magda and Nadine in a corner and start my story, she tells me to stop gossiping and get down to the gym in double quick time. Mrs. Henderson is also the PE teacher. Worst luck. I positively hate PE. Whether it's hockey or netball or athletics or rounders, you get hot and sweaty and people yell at you and you feel stupid. Well, I do. Nadine's pretty hopeless too, and though Magda can be quite nippy and she's good at ball work, she generally hangs around with us and doesn't try, just to be matey. So the three of us get into a little huddle in the changing rooms, and I start for a second time. But Mrs. Henderson hounds us again, telling us to cut the cackle and get changed or we'd be for it. Oh, Mrs. Henderson, I'm having a really heavy period. Can I be excused games today because of my stomach cramps? I wail, clutching my tummy. Ooh, me too, Mrs. Henderson, says Nadine. It's really bad. And me too, says Mrs. Henderson, says Magda, determined not to be left out. Mrs. Henderson puts her hands on her hips. So you are all three having your periods, she says, eyebrows raised. It's a very strange but true phenomenon that women living in close circumstances menstruate at exactly the same time, I say. This is a fact. I've read it somewhere. Anyway, even though it doesn't actually apply to Nadine and Magda and me, it would be kind of creepy. And what if you found you needed to do everything else in unison too, so you all woke up at exactly the same time and had to make a dash for the loo simultaneously? It's a very strange but true phenomenon that lazy schoolgirls will concoct any silly excuse, whatever it is, to get them out of games, says Mrs. Henderson. I don't care if you three girls are about to have babies. You are still going out on the games field and you will take exercise. We are forced to take so much exercise that I can't even speak the rare times I stagger near Magda or collapse beside Nadine. I just gasp helplessly, like a goldfish. Mrs. Henderson keeps us hop, skip and jumping until the bell goes, which is incredibly mean because we have to change back to the changing rooms and shower and shove on our clothes in a frantic rush, as we only have a 5-minute changeover period and it's Mrs. Madley next lesson. A double period, just enough to give everyone stomach cramps. Mrs. Madley takes us for English, and it's my second favourite subject. Art first, of course. But Mrs. Madley is mega strict, and the one thing she really gets mad about is if we're late for her lesson, which we are. She rants on at us as if it's all our fault. And when Magda explains we were still dashing around the athletics field in our PE kit when the bell went, Mrs. Madley says that's no concern of hers. Her concern is her lesson, and we are late, and that is inexcusable. She wastes a good 10 minutes telling us we can't afford to be late because we've got so much to do, and when she eventually starts the lesson, it's poetry. I like a good story, not airy-fairy poems, especially as she wants us to concentrate on nature poetry. It is not in my nature to like nature. It sucks. I should have Townie tattooed on my forehead. We have this awful mouldering holiday cottage halfway up a mountain in the westest part of Wales, and every hour I'm forced to spend there seems to last as long as a week. Mrs. Madley glares at our groans and reads us examples from the romantic poets. I perk up a little at the word romantic, but it doesn't mean romance. I don't know what romantic countryside these romantic poets tramped through, but I never stand transfixed on my little Welsh hill and admire the fair musk rose blooms or mellow fruits. There's just a lot of rank vegetation and mud everywhere. Then she swaps to modem poetry, and she reads a Sylvia Plath poem about blackberrying, and I suddenly sit up and listen because I like it. It's so sharp and strange. But then she starts another poem called Withering Heights, and the first line says something about horizons ringing her like faggots, and we all collapse, and Mrs. Madley gets very narked indeed and says we're all utterly pathetic. And then she says we all have to write a poem now, straight away, at least 12 lines, on nature, and any girl who fails to do so will get a detention and double English homework. I struggle. I think of Wales. I think hard. Mud, mud, horrible mud. It's like that old hippopotamus song. If you slip in the mud, you fall down with a thud. I think Mrs. Madley requires a more passionate response to nature. I try again. Up in the mountain, through the glen, you will always wonder when. You can clear off, home again. I peer around the room. Help! Everyone else seems to have got stuck in straight away. Nadine rolls her eyes at me and Magda sticks out her tongue. But their eyes are vague, concentrating on their poems. The entire class is looking serious. I daren't do anything silly and jokey, but how can I act like I care about the countryside? Hang on, nature doesn't stop bang at every town boundary. I could write about nature here. I peer out of the window. It is a grey, dreary day. The privet hedges of the suburban gardens over the road are cut into ugly arcs. The Bedding plants are crude poster paint colours, set out in unattractive repeating patterns like wallpaper. The trees have all been pollarded so their branches don't wave in the wind. Suburban nature is not a pretty sight. OK, what about in the dark? In the park? Me in the park with Russell and the moon above and the poplar trees. Yes, I write. I forget this is my English lesson and Mrs. Madley is in a mood and my tights are all skew-whiffed because I pulled them up too quickly after PE and my hair has gone even wilder than usual, so it's spiralling up and out like there's been a minor explosion in my head. I'm not here at all. I'm back in the park with Russell, and the key words form on the page, my hand writing as if it's got a will of its own. Time's up, girls, says Mrs. Madley. Right, you've all been very busy. I hope the fruits of your labour are mellow. Who's going to read first? Oh no, she wants us to read them out loud? I sit, heart thudding. She picks Jess first, and she reads out this neat little poem about flowers, simple and safe. Then Stacey gets chosen, and she gushes on about the sea, the wild white horses and the flying foam until she's practically foaming at the mouth too. It is a totally phony poem with absolutely awful, annoying alliteration. But Mrs. Madley goes a bundle on this too. She picks poor shy Maddie next, who blushes and says hers is rubbish, and then she whispers it so we can barely hear. Stuff about mills and fields and harvests and yields. Mrs. Madley doesn't look impressed, but says very good, dear, and then she picks Nadine. Mine's about night, Mrs. Madley, says Nadine. It's good too, very gothic. A total stormy night with bats flying and cats stalking and trees tapping on windows and flashes of lightning like spears from hell and the crash of thunder as the devil rides out. You've really tried hard, Nadine. Well done, says Mrs. Madley. Now, Ellie. Oh, God, my eyes flash over the page. No, I can't. Ellie? Mine's about the night too. It's similar to Nadine's. It'll be so repetitious, night after night. Can't we have a day poem instead? Ellie, I'm used to you girls being repetitious. Now, start reading. Night in the park. The pale moon bare, luminous above the poplar trees. Tall, thin, dark. A giant feather frieze. Surrounding the soft square. I stop and swallow. I feel my face going red. Go on, says Mrs. Madley. It's good, Ellie. That's it, I say. I've finished. No, you haven't. I can see there's another verse. And I stipulated a bare minimum of 12 lines. I can count, Ellie. I take a deep breath. Hold me in the park, your pale face intent, luminous above mine, tall, thin, dark, around me twine, surrounding, savouring, spent. There's a gasp, and then the entire class explodes. Mrs. Madley stares at me, and then she sighs, heavily. Quieten down, you idiotic girls. Eleanor Allard, what did I ask you to write? A poem, Mrs. Madley. What sort of poem? On nature. Did I ask for adolescent soft pornography? No, Mrs. Madley. That's right. It seems to me unbelievably stupid to waste your poetic talent and my valuable lesson time on such nonsense. You will do double homework, an essay on nature poetry and another nature poem, and on Monday you will read it out loud, and if anyone so much as titters at the content, you will start all over again. Do I make myself plain? As plain as a pikestaff. What is a pikestaff? Some sort of weapon? She's a deadly weapon. A member of staff with the features and ferocious nature of a pike. It's so unfair. I wasn't trying to be insolent. I just got carried away thinking about Russell and me in the park, and it was a poetical comment, contrasting nature with human nature. Mean old bag. Nadine and Magda are mouthing messages at me, but I daren't respond with Mrs. Madley in this mood. What's the matter with all the teachers today? I can't stick school. I go off into a private dream about when I'm grown up, and I have my own little studio flat, and I can draw all day. Maybe it could be a big studio flat with 2 desks. I could work at one end of the studio, Russell at the other. I'm mad. I've only just met him and already I'm thinking about living with him. I wonder what it would be like spending all the day with him, and then all the night too. I jump when the bell goes, startled right out of Russell's arms. Magda and Nadine pounce on me the moment we're outside the classroom. Tell us what happened with Russell, Ellie. Your poem. God, you really spelt it out. How could you read it out in front of the entire class? I didn't want to. She made me. But you wrote it in your English book, you idiot. Yes, well, the words just came. Like Russell, says Magda, and she and Nadine hoot with helpless laughter. So you actually did it with Russell. I can't believe it when you've only just met him. And you lectured me like crazy about not going too far with Liam. You were careful, weren't you, Ellie? What was it like? Tell us absolutely every little detail. I stare at them like they've gone bananas. Okay, he kissed me. Once. Several times. And that's it. But you made it out in your poem, you did it. No, I didn't. You did. Here, give us it. Magda snatches my English book and fumbles for my poem. She reads the last line and she and Nadine curl up laughing again. What? You put spent? Yeah, I know it sounds a bit odd, I'll say, but I wanted an S word to make it all alliterative. Right, seeing as Mrs. Madley's so hot on it, and it had to rhyme with intent, and it was all I could come up with. Can you believe it, Nadine, says Magda, sighing and raising her eyebrows. Oh, Ellie, you mean you didn't mean spent? I meant, well, we spent time together. The evening was spent, it was the end. What else could I mean? It sounded like you and Russell, so then he was spent. Oh my God, I didn't mean that. No one thought I meant that, did they? That's what we all thought you meant, including Mrs. Madley. No wonder she's giving me all this extra homework. So you and Russell didn't really do anything, said Nadine, sounding disappointed. The way your dad was creating, you'd have thought you'd have both eloped. I'm sorry, I feel awful about him harassing you. No problem, I just wish I could have invented some satisfactory excuse for you. I didn't know what to say. Neither did I. He's still really mad at me. He says I'm not allowed out at all now. What, ever? For the foreseeable future? Of course I'm not taking any notice. I'm seeing Russell tonight. Really? Wow, he must be keen. So, are you just going to walk out or what? Well, Dad's not going to be at home, so it's simple. What about Anna? Oh, she's no problem. I say lightly, hoping it's true. You're so lucky, Ellie. My mum's my big problem, says Nadine. So you're really stuck on Russell, says Magda. We're sitting down in the canteen by this time, eating school pizza. Magda's licking up her melted cheese strands. Her little pink cat tongue is very pointed. Her tone is a little pointed too. Well, I shrug. I wish I knew what Magda and Nadine think of him. I don't want to act like I'm being overboard if they think he's a total upper-class anorak. On the other hand, if they're dead impressed and envious, then I want to act like I'm really enthusiastic, that he's ultra keen, and he is, isn't he? What about me? I wish I knew. Sitting here eating pizza in my gungy school uniform, I feel almost like I made him up. I'm glad I've got Nadine and Magda as witnesses to the fact that he actually exists. I can't quite conjure his face up now. I know longish hair, I know brown eyes, but that's about it. I'm not even 100% sure of his voice. Is he really posh or just sort of ordinary? There's one thing I do remember vividly, the feeling of his mouth on mine. Ellie, you're blushing. I'm not, I protest foolishly, though my face is red hot. Are you sure you didn't do anything else but kiss? Says Nadine. Sure. What's he like at kissing? Asks Magda. Good. That sounds heartfelt. Better than Dan? I'm sure Eggs is a better kisser than Dan. Dan was never a real boyfriend anyway, whereas Russell, can I call him a boyfriend yet? I know one thing, I simply have to see him tonight, and there's nothing Anna can do about it. It's hard all the same. Anna has a lovely little snack of fruit bread and soft cheese and plums waiting for me when I get back from school. We have a little munch together while she tells me all about Eggs' new little girlfriend in year 3, an older woman. Eggs gollops down half a bag of plums and smiles smugly whenever Mandy's name is mentioned. It was a bit bold of you to chat her up, seeing as she is in the juniors, I say. She was the one who chatted me up, says Eggs, biting into another plum. She thinks I'm sweet. She wants me to play with her every day. She won't think you're sweet tomorrow when you're stuck in the boys' bogs with terrible diarrhea after eating all those plums, I say. It's Saturday tomorrow, so I won't be at school. Ha ha, says Eggs, and he puts an entire whole plum in his mouth. Eggs, don't be so greedy and disgusting. Oh God, you'll choke, says Anna, leaping up and bashing him on the back. The plum flies out of Eggs' mouth and lands with a messy foot on the kitchen floor. My plum, Eggs protests, about to pick it up. It's all grimy now, says Anna, whisking it away quickly. So is Eggs, I say. Look at him, he's filthy. He had finger painting today, says Anna. Only in Eggs' case it was more like entire body painting. Shall we give you a bath, little chap? Oh, I want a bath, I say quickly. Anna looks at me. I usually have my bath late at night. I only have a bath early if I'm going out. She hesitates. We haven't even referred to the tempestuous events of last night and this morning. I can see her struggling, not wanting to spoil our friendly time unless it's absolutely necessary. I whiz out of the kitchen before she makes up her mind, up to the bathroom, where I wash hurriedly, glad that the hot bath has steamed up the mirror. After my stupid anorexic bulimic blip, I'm trying hard to accept my body the way it is. But the way it is a plump, when you're about to go out on your first serious date, you'd so much rather look skinny. I pull on my best trousers and a lacy top, decide they look way too tight. Why did I have 3 slices of fruit bread? Put on my baggy trousers and a shirt, decide I look too casual, put on a dress, which looks much too dressy, stand in my knickers and search my entire wardrobe and eventually shove my best trousers and lacy top back on. Time is tick-tocking faster and faster. I do my makeup, doing a serious cover-up job of every weeny snippet of a spot. I outline my eyes to make them look big and beguiling and put mascara on my lashes so I can flutter them provocatively. I leave the lipstick out altogether as I don't want to smear it all over Russell. Then it's hair raking time. I flex my muscles, brandish my fiercest hairbrush and do my best to tame it, though it's curlier than ever from getting damp in the bath. I still hate the way I look when I'm finished. But I looked worse yesterday, and yet I was the one Russell sketched. Not Magda, not Nadine. Me. That's still so amazing I can hardly take it in. Me, I sing, sounding like an opera singer warming up. Then I go downstairs, steeling myself. I could just charge up the hall and out the front door without saying anything. Maybe it would be easier all around. Ellie, Anna calls. She comes to the kitchen door. You're going out. Bye, Anna, I say, trying to act perfectly normally. Ellie, your dad says you're not allowed out. I know, but he's not here. Oh, for God's sake, don't do this to me, Ellie. You can't go out, not after last night. You know Dad overreacted. Maybe he did a bit, okay, but if you go out now, he's never going to back down over this. He won't know. I'll be home long before him. I should tell him. But you won't, will you? I don't know. Look, Ellie, can't you invite this Russell round here? That way you could still see him and not defy your dad. I don't know his phone number. I don't even know his second name. That's why I have to go and meet him, Anna. If I don't, he'll just think I've stood him up and then I'll never see him again. And you really like him? Yes. Oh, Anna, please, I've got to go and see him. I can't just let you go off with him. What if anything happened? What could happen? Look, we're meeting at Flowerfields. I expect we'll go to McDonald's or maybe for a pizza. I don't know. I'll explain that I have to get back early, really early. By 9:30, say. Please, Anna, please let me go. I promise I'll be back by 9:30. I won't let you down. Please trust me. Please. Oh, go on then, you bad girl, says Anna, and she even gives me another $5. I throw my arms around her and give her a big kiss. You're a darling, I say, and I rush off. I'm so thrilled she's let me go out that I bounce up the road. It isn't until I'm on the bus into town that I start to get nervous. I wonder what I'm going to say when I see Russell. Hi, Russell, I mutter to myself, grinning and giving little waves. Oh, God, someone's staring at me. They'll be wondering about the mad girl sitting muttering and waving to herself. I am starting to get very hot inside my lacy top. It's quite cheap lace, so it's itchy. I'm scratching myself with both hands. Now everyone will think I've got fleas. I must keep still when I meet Russell. No more grins, mutters, waves, and definitely no more scratching. Otherwise, he'll sketch me as a monkey. The bus is taking forever. I'm scared I'm going to be late, and he'll think I'm not coming. Oh, Russell, of course I'm coming. I've braved my dad. I've bullied poor Anna. I've chanced everything to see you. I leap off the bus as soon as it gets into town. I run wildly all the way to Flowerfield Shopping Centre. I pull up panting with 1 minute to spare. I'm first. At last. And last. This is why. I wait. Russell is late. I wait and wait and wait. Russell is very, very, very late. I wait until 8. And then I trail home, trying not to cry. Chapter 4. Doom and Gloom Time. Oh, Ellie, thank goodness. You are a good girl. But you didn't have to come back this early, says Anna. Then she sees my face. Ellie? Oh dear, what happened? Wasn't he so nice this time? Did he do anything to upset you? He didn't do anything. He didn't turn up, I wail, and then all the tears inside me gush like the waters in Titanic. Eggs is in bed, thank God, and Dad is out, of course. So it's just Anna and me. She puts her arms around me and I howl on her shoulder. She's wearing a new pale blue sweater her friend Sarah gave her, and I'm wearing a lot of mascara. Oh God, Anna, I've got black splodges all over your sweater. I'm so sorry, I burble. Never mind. I don't actually like this sweater anyway, simply because Sarah shows off so much about designing her own label clothes. She thinks I'm dotty about her stuff, but I only bought it to be polite. I'll have it off you if you don't like it. I wonder why you want to wear everyone else's sweaters, says Anna, mopping at my face with a tissue. I draw the line at Dad's, I say. Oh, Anna, don't tell him Russell didn't turn up, will you? Of course not. I'm not even telling him you went out. I'm so sorry, Ellie, but I'm so relieved you're okay. I shouldn't have let you go out, not because of your dad. It's really not safe for a girl your age to go out by herself. Yes, it is. All too safe. No one wants to have their wicked way with me. Certainly not Russell. Oh, Anna, it was so awful waiting there. All these girls were hanging around and they kept looking at me and giggling. It was totally obvious they knew I'd been stood up. You're sure it was tonight you were supposed to be meeting? Yes, the time, the place, everything. He obviously didn't mean it. Dad was right. He wasn't the slightest bit interested in me. He just wanted to try it on. Did he? Anna asked, alarmed. No, we just kissed. I think about Russell's kisses and how special they were to me, and yet he obviously doesn't want to kiss me ever again. I cover my face and sob. Poor old Ellie. Don't take it to heart. I've been stood up before. So has everyone. Don't get so upset. Look, why not phone Nadine or Magda? Have a good moan to them. But for just about the first time in my life, I can't face talking to my two best friends. I know they'd be sweet to me, but it would be just so humiliating, especially after showing off about Russell so at school and writing that stupid poem. I can understand why Nadine would barely talk to me when she was so cut up about Liam. He was a hateful pig who just wanted to have sex with her. But at least he went out with her a lot of times and made her think she was really special. Russell couldn't be bothered to go out with me once. I go upstairs to bed very early, wanting to be well out of the way before Dad comes home. In my bedroom, I take out my sketchbook. I look at the portrait of Russell. Then I take my fattest, blackest crayon and scribble all over it, again and again until it's just a black, crumpled mess. Then I pull it out of the book and tear it into tiny little shreds and empty them out of my window. They flutter into the night air like black confetti. Right, I've torn him up. Now I shall forget all about him. He's not worth another thought. I know this, but I do think about him. Half the night. I have a lie-in until really late in the morning, huddling right down under the covers so I can't see the daylight. I dimly hear the telephone ringing. Then Anna's light footsteps. Phone for you, Ellie. For one lunatic second, I wonder if it could possibly be Russell ringing to apologise, and then I remember he doesn't know my number. He doesn't even know my full name. It's Magda. Were you still in bed? So you had a seriously late night with the divine Russell, right? Wrong, I mumble. What? Oh, is your dad around? Says Magda. Dad's actually out at the swimming baths with eggs, thank goodness. I mumble something even less intelligible to Magda. I can't hear you. Look, just answer yes or no if your dad's earwigging. Did you have a good time with Russell? No. Oh, so you had a bad time with Russell? No. Well, make up your mind. Look, I can't talk about it, Mags. Well, meet me this afternoon, okay? And Nadine. I'm not allowed out. Dad won't let me, I say, and I put the phone down. Your dad will let you go out with Magda and Nadine, says Anna. I don't feel like it anyway, I say, and I droop back up the stairs. Are you going to have a bath? Anna asks. I don't feel like having a bath. I don't feel like getting dressed. I don't feel like having breakfast. I don't feel like having any communication with the outside world ever again. I don't even want to talk to Anna anymore. I go back to my rumpled bed and huddle up, my knees under my chin. I wish I still had my old blue special elephant. I wish I was a really little girl again. I wish I still thought boys were stupid mucky creatures who picked their noses and ate it and yanked the arms off Barbie dolls. I wish eggs didn't exist and Dad hadn't met Anna. I wish my mum was still alive. My throat aches and my eyes burn and I start crying because I suddenly missed Mum so much, even though she died long ago. I cry under the covers for ages. When I eventually crawl out at lunchtime, my eyes are sore and swollen. I come downstairs to have bacon sandwiches. Anna has obviously said something to Dad and eggs. They both stare at me, but after one fierce glance from Anna, they start nattering on about swimming. Eggs demonstrates his version of freestyle so wildly that his sandwich crusts go flying and he nearly pokes me in the eye. Dad tells him to calm down. Eggs gets wilder. Dad gets cross. Anna intervenes. I let it all wash over me, as if I care about any of this stuff, as if I care about anything anymore. It's not like I'll ever have a family of my own. It's obvious no boy is ever going to want to go out with me, let alone from a proper partnership. My first boyfriend, Dan, was a total nerd. Anorak boy with a capital A, and yet even he fell out of love with me. And Russell couldn't even be bothered to turn up on our very first date. I'm going to lead a totally solitary, unloved, uncherished life. A tear drips down my cheek. Oh, Ellie, says Dad, can't bear to see you so miserable. Look, I'm sorry I wouldn't let you meet up with this boy yesterday. I glance at Anna. She raises her eyebrows a fraction. I decide it's safer to say nothing. Ellie's crying, says Eggs, unnecessarily. Just finish your sandwich, Eggs, and leave Ellie alone, says Anna. Feel like I've overplayed the heavy father role, says Dad. You do understand, Ellie. It was just because I care about you. No one else cares about me. No need to worry about Russell going too far with me, Dad. Russell doesn't want to get anywhere near me. I don't say any of this. I simply sniff. Anna says you told Magda I wouldn't let you meet up with her this afternoon. Ellie, I'm not that mean. You can go out with your girlfriends, for goodness sake. I just shrug and shrink back into my bedroom. But Magda and Nadine don't give up on me that easily. There's a knock at the door 10 minutes later. Magda and Nadine. Dad answers the door and walks right into it. Oh, Mr. Allard, look, we've come around to plead with you, I hear Magda say. We know you're cross with Ellie. I'm sorry I didn't tell you what was going on straight away. It's partly my fault, says Nadine. They badger and flirt and flutter. Dad is clearly enjoying the situation and lets them carry on for ages. Then he pretends to weaken. Well, girls, I'd hate to spoil your afternoon. Okay, you persuaded me. Ellie can go out with you. They squeal gratefully and then come bounding upstairs. Magda clatters in her platforms. Nadine bounces in her trainers. They barge into my bedroom like two knights in armour rescuing a princess. I feel more like the loathsome monster. They show off about their supposed victory, and I try to act grateful. Though, actually, I don't feel like going out, I protest weakly. I pretend it's because I've got a bad period. They are as suspicious as Mrs. Henderson. They are both peering at my sore eyes and blotchy face. Come on, Ellie, says Magda. Tell us about Russell. Oh, God, didn't he turn up? You've got it, I say, and I start sniffing again. Oh, Ellie, what a creepy, mean, rotten thing to do. How long did you wait for him, says Nadine. An hour? An hour, I wail. I tell them all about it. Magda puts her arm round my neck, and Nadine puts her arm around my waist, and they both pat me sympathetically. Nadine says she thought his eyes were too close together, and he had this really seriously shifty look, which should have been a warning. But then she's not one to talk, looking at her and Liam. Magda says he seemed awfully juvenile for his age anyway, just wanting to show off about himself. But she's no one to talk either. She went out with Greg, who had all the sophistication of Dennis the Menace. I start to feel a bit better. Nadine goes to the bathroom, comes back with my flannel and bathes my eyes. Magda whips out her own makeup bag and powders them deep grey and outlines them in black, and I now have new eyes and old friends, and I feel a lot better. Coming out now, says Magda. Nadine gets my jacket, and off we go, the three of us. I start to wonder why on earth I was so upset over Russell. Boyfriends are okay, but they aren't a patch on girlfriends who stuck by you and care about you forever. We go down the town to Flowerfields, and I actually manage to be funny about a sad little ghost of Ellie still standing waiting there. We wander around the clothes shops for a while, trying on different stuff and hooting with laughter. There, I knew you'd cheer up if we took you out, says Magda. Forget Russell, forget all boys, they're not worth it. At that precise moment, her eyes are following three boys in tight jeans fooling around outside the HMV shop. They disappear inside. I'm wondering about buying that new best ever long love songs compilation album, says Magda. Can I go and have another listen? Nadine catches my eye and we have a giggle. We saunter into HMV and Magda eyes up the boys, while Nadine and I have another flip through our current favourites, playing the If I Had 100 Quid to Spend game. The Claudie Coleman album is high on both our lists. Hey, look, says Nadine, pointing to a Claudie Coleman poster above the counter. She's singing at the Albert Hall next month. Oh wow, let's go, says Magda, actually distracted from the boys. I'd love to see her in person, wouldn't you? Well, the tickets would be seriously pricey, I say cautiously, wishing I wasn't always so strapped over cash. But maybe Anna would help me out. Look, I'll help you out if needs be. And you too, Nadine, says Magda. But us three girls have simply got to go and see Claudie, right? She's scribbling down the phone number for the ticket office. I'll get my dad to book them on his credit card the minute I get home, okay? We take it in turns singing along with Claudie at the listening station. There's one particular tune that I can't get enough of Claudie singing very close up, soft and breathy, like she's whispering in your ear. Don't even think about him. He's not worth it. Worth it. Worth it. Who needs a man to feel a woman? You're doing fine without him, girl. I replay it until I know it off by heart, and we sing it as we all go around Flowerfields. I sing it as a duet on the bus with Nadine. She's bought the album, lucky thing, but she's promised to do a tape for me. Then I hum a solo version as I walk back from her house. Who needs Russell? Who cares about Russell? Don't even think about him. Ellie, guess who came calling around here this afternoon? I stand staring and wait. Guess, says Dad. I don't know, I say, shrugging. A certain young man? I miss a beat. Which young man? With floppy hair, rather full of himself, sketchbook tucked tightly, pretentiously under his arm. Russell, the very one. But how did he know where I live? Ah, that was my question too. And he had a rather impressive answer. He knew vaguely the area, so he'd worked his way up and down several roads describing a certain young lady called Ellie. Eventually someone somewhere recognised the description and suggested he call at our house. Oh my God, are you serious, Dad? Russell really did come round? He did indeed. He was very worried about last night. Russell's dad kicked up merry hell because the lad was late back on Thursday night. Apparently he hadn't deigned to tell his dad he was going walkabout after school, and when he sauntered home at midnight, he was so angry with him he wouldn't let him out at all yesterday, even though young Russell begged and pleaded and moaned and groaned. So he couldn't meet you at your special trysting place, which is just as well because you were similarly shut up by your equally outraged parent, yes? Yes, right. So what else did Russell say? Not a lot. He seemed a little dismayed by my reaction. I was extremely angry with the young man. He had no right to purloin you and whisk you off to the park. You didn't really get cross with him, did you, Dad? I can't believe this. He didn't stand me up. He really couldn't help it. And he went all over the place trying to track me down this afternoon just to explain. Just to explain, says Dad. He needed to explain until he was blue in the face, positively ultramarine. Oh, Dad, you weren't really heavy with him, were you? You bet I was. That young man won't dare so much as blink in your direction without my say-so, and I say no. I stare at Dad, desperate to suss whether he's serious or not. I think he's teasing me, but I can't be sure. I just wish Anna was here and she could sort him out for me. Why did Russell have to come round when I was out, for heaven's sake? But imagine, going from house to house asking for me. That sounds like he's really serious about seeing me. So, what exactly did he say, Dad? I told you, I did nearly all the talking. And how was it left? Dad shrugs. I think he sees the error of his ways. Dad, I wish you wouldn't be so annoying. I mean, did Russell say anything about seeing me again? Dad shakes his head. Certainly not, seeing as I'd expressly forbidden it. You didn't. Really, truly, you said I couldn't go out with him. I'm still pretty sure he's winding me up, but I can hear my voice getting shrill all the time. Really, truly, possibly, Dad says. Did he suggest seeing me or not? You always insist you're a liberated young woman. Maybe you should make the running. If I were to allow you to go out again, which I doubt. So how can I make the running, Dad? Did Russell tell you his address? Nope, he really didn't. Dad shakes his head, but he's still got that irritating grin on his face. So, how can I get in touch with him? Do I have to go on an equivalent quest all around Pembridge Park? You could, says Dad, or he could have jotted it down in this letter. He brings out an envelope from his pocket and waves it in the air at me. I snatch it and tear it open. My eyes skitter down the page. See you, I hope, Russell, and a little picture. My heart is flooding. Well, says Dad. Aha, it's his turn to be curious. Yes, he's very well, I say, smiling. And you are now too, I take it, says Dad. Yep. I dance off to the kitchen and make myself a cup of coffee, reading Russell's letter while the kettle boils. Then I read his letter again while I drink my coffee, and again, and again. Dear Ellie, I'm so extra sorry. I felt so bad about not being able to make it on Friday night, and kind of humiliated too, because my dad went completely off his head and wouldn't let me out simply because he got fussed last night. I can't believe his attitude. And it's bloody hypocritical too, going on about what I'm getting up to when he's smooching all over our house with his girlfriend. But anyway, he can't keep me locked up permanently. Will you meet after school on Monday at McDonald's? I'll be there as soon as I can make it, around 20 to 4. I'll wait for you and hope very much that you'll come. I'll be the one looking stupid and saying sorry over and over again. See you, I hope, Russell. He's done a small sketch of himself. Floppy hair, earnest expression, pencil in one hand, sketchbook in the other. There are little initial letters on the sketchbook, so tiny I have to hold them up to my eyes and squint. R-L-E. Rule. Roll. No, Russell. R for Russell. E for Ellie. L? L. Russell loves Ellie? I feel as if I'm on a giant switchback, swooping up and over and up and over and up and over. Aren't you making your old dad a cup of coffee too, says Dad, coming into the kitchen. Sure. I shoved the letter quickly into my pocket. Nice letter? He wants to see you again. Sort of, yeah. So, what are you going to do? Your dad expressly forbids it. What? I stare at Dad. Are you serious? Dad is trying to frown, but his eyes are twinkling. Sort of, he says. Look, Ellie, I got seriously panicky about Thursday night. It's the first time you've ever been out after dark like that, and I couldn't stand it. I bet you went out with girls when you were my age. Maybe that's why I panicked. I remember all too clearly what I was like when I was Russell's age. Makes me cringe now. I didn't treat girls like people. I was trapped in this awful stuffy boys' school, so I never knew girls properly. They were just amazing exotic creatures, and we were struck dumb in their company, and it was like this sick competition, seeing how far you could go with them. Dad! I know. And then we boast about it afterwards to our mates, exaggerating, obviously, saying all this degrading stuff. Look, Dad, that was way back when boys were like Neanderthals. Russell isn't a bit like that. I insist, though I feel myself getting pink in the face, remembering the way we kissed. I know, says Dad. As soon as I met him, I could see he's just a nice, decent kid who wants to be friends with my daughter. He told me you had this long, intense conversation about art. He showed me his sketch of you. By the way, and it's good. His style needs a bit of fine-tuning, but for his age, he's got a great sense of line. Anyway, I felt like a total prat. I believed he was a sex-crazed loony slobbering all over you, when all the time you were having this totally platonic, artistic discussion. Yeah, that's just the way it was, Dad. I told you, I say, still pink in the face. So, as you realise times have changed, is it okay if I go out with Russell to do some sketching together? That's the thing, Ellie. Times have changed. When I was young, I stayed out till really late as a teenager and no one turned a hair. Even when Anna was young, she went out to local discos and youth clubs when she was 13 or 14. But now there aren't any harmless little discos. It's all wild raves. And you know I don't want you going anywhere near Seventh Heaven again after they did that drug raid there. Okay, I promise we won't go to Seventh Heaven. I don't feel happy about you and Russell going anywhere, Ellie. Not after dark. The town is attracting a whole load of yobs who just want to roam around picking fights and getting into trouble. I'm not surprised Russell's dad was really worried about him being out late. Russell can look after himself, Dad. He's not some sad little wimp. He could be Mr. Muscles Macho Man. It wouldn't make any difference if a whole gang started in on him. You're getting totally paranoid, Dad. Maybe. I don't know. But how about if you and Russell met up after school and then he went back home around 9? Dad, we're not eggs age. I know, but you're as precious to me as eggs and I don't need another night like Thursday. Look, you're still supposed to be in the doghouse for that. I'll let you see Russell, but I'm going to stick to this 9 o'clock curfew for the time being. I think that's more than fair. I don't. Well, it gets dark by 9, so you couldn't do any sketching then, could you? Says Dad, smiling. I smile back weakly. I don't know who's bluffing who, but at least I can see Russell, even if it's only in daylight. I go up to my bedroom and read his letter again, several times more. Then I go downstairs and ring Nadine and tell her that it's all okay, and that Russell walked around and round the town looking for me, practically knocking at every house door. Nadine isn't quite as impressed as I'd hoped. She's got her Claudie album playing full blast. Her family are obviously out, and she's singing along instead of concentrating fully. I need to ask her something. Nadine, do you really think Russell looks seriously shifty? Nadine herself sounds as if she's doing some serious shifting the other end of the phone. No, Ellie, not at all. I was just, saying stuff to comfort you. I don't think his eyes are too close together either. I think it was just his intense expression when he was sketching you. I let it go at that. I ring Magda next. She's got some great news for me first. Her dad has booked 3 tickets for us to go and hear Claudie next month. There, aren't you pleased, Ellie? Claudie will cheer you up. He's not worth it. Worth it, right? Well, maybe he is worth it after all, Magda. I fill her in on all the details, massaging the facts even more impressively so that I have Russell practically trekking around the entire country looking for me. I wait for Magda's comments. There's a little silence on the end of the phone. So, it shows he didn't just stand me up, I say. Sorry, Ellie, I'm not quite clear. You mean he stood you up because his dad wouldn't let him go out? He didn't stand me up. He wanted to come, but Daddy wouldn't let him. I don't like that daddy bit. I pause. I take it you still think Russell is awfully juvenile, just wanting to show off about himself. I can hear Magda swallowing. No, well, not Russell in particular, just most boys in year 11. I mean, they're better than the pathetic creeps in year 10, not to mention year 9, but they're still not exactly mature. So you think about Russell, that you think he's immature? Oh, Ellie, stop being so prickly. I think all boys are immature, full stop. But your Russell is great, for a boy. I agree happily and tell her to thank her dad for ordering the tickets. Sometime I am going to have to tackle my dad about coughing up the cash, but maybe it might be better to wait till tomorrow, seeing as we have already spent so long negotiating today. I decide to put myself in a good light by making him another coffee, even though it's nearly tea time. I wonder where Anna and Eggs have got to. I have to make sure I get Anna on her own to get her to promise to keep quiet about my sneaking out to meet Russell on Friday night. If Dad knows I deliberately disobeyed him, then maybe he'll stop me seeing Russell altogether, and I have to see him. I think about him going all around those houses asking for me. It's like a fairy tale. He's the handsome prince on the loopy quest. Knock 3 times on every house in the street and the next, and then you will find the princess and get to kiss her. I go into a happy little daze in my bedroom and don't resurface until I hear the front door. Is that you, Anna? I shout. No, it's just me, Dad calls. I was looking down the road to see if there was any sign of them. I don't know where they've got to. Where were they going? Shopping? I peer over the banisters at him. Ellie, as if Anna would go shopping with Eggs. You know what a pain he can be. No, Nadine's mum phoned her up. Dad pulls her face. I giggle. Nadine's mum is one of those women who seem to spring from their bed, fully made up, hair lacquered into a helmet, armed with a J-cloth and a dustbuster. Don't you dare laugh. She's still very much looking down her pointy nose at me because you were out so late on Thursday, and she doesn't want you to be a bad influence on her Nadine. Oh God, she wasn't going on about it again, was she? For a while, yes. But she was also telling Anna about this local photo shoot she's dragging that showy little sister of Nadine's to this afternoon. She wondered if Anna wanted to take eggs. What? Eggs? I know. I can't really see the little guy prancing around in front of a photographer myself, but apparently this particular company wanted to find a little boy who looks just, well, like little boys. That is, filthy dirty and fooling about. It's for this washing powder where a little girl is all dressed up in a pristine party frock. Natasha. And all these little boys come along and get her to play football with them, and then push her over and get her all muddy. Ah, eggs might be good at that. That's what Anna thought. He seemed to relish the idea too. And you get paid. So that's where they went. Only they've been gone hours and hours. Eggs probably got too enthusiastic and completely coated Natasha in mud. They might have to hose her down and dry her off and pretty her up again for each take. That would take ages. And meanwhile, we've got rumbly tummies. I suppose I ought to mosey out into the kitchen and get something started for supper. Dad sounds totally lacking in enthusiasm. He understands the concept of the new man, but has all the laziness and lack of inclination of a very old man. I'll rustle something up, Dad, I say cheerily, determined to keep in his good books so that he might just extend this ludicrous 9 o'clock curfew. I rustle and hustle and bustle, and we sit down to burnt omelettes and soggy chips. This is delicious, Dad says determinedly. But the thing is, Ellie, I'm starting to get really worried about Anna and eggs, so I've sort of lost my appetite. It's only partly an excuse. He does look a bit tense and twitchy. They'll be all right, Dad. This shoot thing will have just gone on for ages. Look, I'll phone Nadine again and ask her how long these things take. I phone Nadine, but this time Nadine's mum answers. She doesn't sound too thrilled when she hears my voice. Oh, it's you, Ellie. Hope you've done your best to show you're sorry for your behaviour last Thursday night. Your poor parents were in a terrible state, and I wasn't at all happy about you involving my Nadine in your little deception. She rants on in familiar vein for ages. I hold the receiver away from my ear, sighing. Eventually, there seems to be a little pause. I'm really sorry, but anyway, I just wanted to ask. No, you can't talk to Nadine just now. She's having her supper. You girls, you're on the phone every 2 minutes, and yet you see each other every day. What? No, Nadine, go back to the table. What's that? Natasha, pet? Have you and Natasha just got back from the photo shoot? I gabble quickly. No. We've been back since 5 o'clock. It was a reasonably quick shoot. No thanks to your little brother, who ran wild and wouldn't behave sensibly at all. So much so they didn't even use him in the end. So where are Eggs and Anna now? I ask. I don't know. But didn't they come back with you? No. I offered them a lift in my car, but Anna had got talking to some strange man and they went off with him. Anna went off with a strange man, I say. Dad comes rushing to the phone. He grabs it from me and starts asking Nadine's mum all sorts of questions. I keep telling you, Mr. Allard, I don't know who this man is or anything about him. I was busy looking after my Natasha. I don't know if he was another parent, although he didn't seem to have a child with him. He wasn't on the main photographic team because I've got to know everyone involved. I suppose he could have been representing the washing powder company, but he didn't look the type. He was wearing a black leather jacket. He seemed a bit rough, like a biker. I was a little surprised to see your wife going off with him. So why didn't you try to stop her? Dad shouts. Well, really, I'm not responsible for your wife's behaviour, nor your daughter's behaviour either. I'd be grateful if you'd stop phoning me up and acting as if it's my fault if one or the other goes missing. She puts the phone down on us. Dad and I stare at each other. Don't look so worried, Dad. Don't take any notice of her. You know what she's like. But she's not a liar. She said she saw Anna go off with this strange man. Eggs, too. Dear God, Ellie, what's happened to them? Maybe Nadine's mum made a mistake, I say, though Nadine's mum is like one of those meerkats, all beady-eyed and extended neck, seeing absolutely everything. She isn't the sort of woman who ever makes mistakes. But then Anna isn't the sort of woman to disappear with a strange biker, either. Anna wouldn't ever go off with a weirdo stranger, especially not with Eggs, I say. I know, Dad says wretchedly. That's what makes it worse. Oh, Ellie, maybe she knows this man. What? Maybe he's a friend of hers, more than a friend. Oh, Dad. Well, I suppose I'm not the easiest man in the world to live with, and sometimes I enjoy a little harmless flirt with some of the students. It's nothing serious, I swear, but perhaps it preys on Anna's mind. Then on Thursday night you turned on me and practically accused me of having a girlfriend on the side. Dad, I was just trying to get to you. I know, and it worked too. And I haven't got a girlfriend. I maybe mightn't have always been squeaky clean in the past, but I hope I've grown up a bit now. I know I've got a really wonderful wife. You've had two, I say, suddenly fierce. Yes, I'm sorry, Ellie. No one can ever replace your mum. We know that. It's been hard for Anna. I don't really treasure her enough. I forget how young she is. She used to be so different when I first met her. Dad, don't. You don't think this guy in the leathers is some boyfriend of hers? Someone she met at her Italian class, maybe? Of course not, I say firmly. But Dad's in such a state, he's almost got me wondering. There's a part of me that knows perfectly well that this is totally crazy, and my own kind, sensible stepmother isn't going to hit the road on a Harley with a secret lover, certainly not with eggs along too. But then it seems so unlike Anna to be so late and not even phone. Maybe this strange man was just giving her a lift, but then they had an accident, a crash. I let myself think just for a second what it would be like if Anna never ever came back. And it's so weird. For years I didn't like her. I felt she was taking my mum's place, and I just wanted her to get out so it could be Dad and me, even though we were half a family without Mum. But now, Anna's part of this new family. She can be an old ratbag sometimes when she has a nag about homework or the state of my bedroom, but most of the time she's like a special big sister to me. And what about my real little brother? Heavens, would I actually miss eggs? Oh, Dad, they've got to be all right, I say, and he puts his arms around me and holds me tight. Of course they are. Take no notice of that stupid stuff I said. I'm just ranting rubbish. Of course they're all right. There's obviously some perfectly ordinary explanation. They'll be here any minute now. You wait and see. And then suddenly, there's a key in the door and eggs calling, and they are here, and the waiting is over. Hi! Did you wonder what had happened to us? Anna says cheerily, while Dad swoops eggs up in his arms and gives him a huge bear hug. I feel so relieved that they're safe, so ridiculous for getting worried, so angry that Anna's got me all churned up like this. Where have you been? You could have phoned, I say furiously. Anna stares, then she bursts out laughing. What's so funny? I growl. Talk about role reversal. You sound just like a mum. Anna laughs. She looks at Dad, expecting him to join in the laughter. We were really worried, Anna, says Dad, releasing eggs and putting him down on the carpet. Why didn't you phone? What were you playing at? I'm sorry, I didn't realise you'd be so worried, says Anna, going into the kitchen. Have you two had your tea? Oh dear, who burnt the frying pan? Hey-ho, Eggs, what would you like, boiled eggs or scrambled? Scrambled, me please, says Eggs, shrieking with laughter, as if this is the most original joke in the entire world, though he's told it every time he's eaten an egg for the past couple of years. He seems even more full of himself than usual, puffing out his chest and beating it like a little gorilla. I'm going to be famous, Ellie, he says. I thought you were pretty useless at the photo shoot, not doing what you were told and being silly to Natasha. They didn't even use you. I snub him. How did you know? Says Anna, startled. Because I phoned Nadine's mum, I explain. Oh dear, yes, she wasn't best pleased with us. She felt we were mucking up Natasha's big moment. I must admit, though, when I saw that child prancing and pouting in front of the cameras, I was awfully glad I had an ordinary mischievous little lad like Eggs, says Anna, whisking eggs. Anyway, anyone else want any eggs? Apart from Humpty Dumpty here. Do an eggy Humpty jumper, Mum, says Eggs. Hey, yes, that would look great. Maybe Humpty could be sitting on the wall on the front and falling off in pieces on the back, Anna says, giving Eggs a kiss on the nose. And it's my woolly jumper, isn't it, Mum? They're all my jumpers, and Ellie can't ever borrow them, can she? And if I'd want to, I say witheringly. Well, I know you've always thought my funny jumpers are awful, Ellie, but they might just prove popular, says Anna, stirring Eggs. She catches sight of Dad, who is still staring at her. What? What the hell do you mean, what? Dad explodes. I just can't believe this. You disappear with our son for almost the whole day. You're hours and hours late home. You were seen by that dreadful woman going off with this weirdo biker. Biker, says Anna, looking mystified. A man in a black leather jacket. Oh, says Anna, giggling. It's not funny, Dad thunders. For God's sake, tell me what you've been up to. Okay, but a biker? Anna splutters again. That was George, and the biker jacket is actually an Armani masterpiece that's only seen the inside of his new silver Audi. So, who the hell is George, says Dad, and now he sounds really worried. George is the editor of a new family magazine, not the tea cozy and telly type. This is ultra hip and designer orientated, right? Anna sounds like she's talking a new language. She almost looks like a new person. Her face is glowing, her eyes are big, her hair is a little ruffled in a chic sort of way. Her whole stance is different. Chin up, chest out, confident. It's as if this George is a fairy godfather and changed her into Cinderella at the ball. Then she remembers the eggs, rescues them and serves Eggs his tea. So what about this George, I say? Oh, Anna, has he offered you a job on his magazine? Yes. Well, on a freelance basis, so there's no problem about being here for Eggs, says Anna, dipping toast into eggs and nibbling. But you don't know the first thing about journalism, says Dad. I know. He's offered me a job as a designer, says Anna. She looks at me triumphantly. It's my jumpers, Ellie. He saw eggs and asked me where I bought his sweater. I said I made it myself, so he asked about a pattern, and I explained that I sketched the picture out in crosses first and then knit it up, hoping for the best. He was really interested. Then after the shoot, and dear God, it was Eggs who needed shooting, he was so naughty. George asked if we could go to the magazine offices to talk things over. And you did, on a Saturday. Surely it would be all locked up. Darling, George is the editor. He can go into his own office whenever he chooses, Anna says. You were still a bit reckless, agreeing so easily. He could have been spinning you a line, says Dad. Anna shakes her head at him. It's not like he invited me back to his house. It was a beautiful state-of-the-art office in Bloomsbury. We went all the way to London with him. You did? Yes, I rode in his car and he had his own PlayStation and he let me play with it and I got to the 3rd level, says Eggs, his mouth all yellow froth. Don't talk with your mouth full, Eggs. Do you want some yoghurt now? Anyway, George and I talked things through at length. While we were sitting here at home wondering what the hell had happened to you. Why didn't you phone? Dad demands. Because I didn't think it would look particularly professional if I said, excuse me, I have to phone my husband to stop him worrying about me, says Anna. She folds her arms and faces Dad. I'm sorry you and Ellie got worried, but I feel I behaved perfectly responsibly. I don't see why you have to give me the 3rd degree now. I thought you'd be thrilled for me. It's the chance I've been waiting for. I was so envious when Sarah started designing her clothes. I felt I'd wasted all my art school training. You've no idea what it's been like, never having a job. I thought you were happy, looking after me and Ellie and Eggs, says Dad. I am happy, but I don't see why I can't have a career as well, especially now Eggs has begun school. And now George really wants Anna jumpers, I say. He got me to sketch some of the ones I've made already. Of course, some of the characters have their own trademarks, so we can't use them. But I roughed out some new animal ones for him, pigs and piglets in little stripy shirts, a funny cow milkman driving an orange milk cart, a granny sheep knitting a jumper, a chicken painting a Fabergé-type egg. He wants all those designs properly drawn out with the knitting instructions and the jumpers knitted up, of course. He says I can use a professional knitter or two if I don't have time myself, as it's obviously the designs that are important. Then we talked about sweaters in football colours and a set of weather jumpers, a light silky cotton jersey with a sun, a thick double knit sweater with a snowman, a rainbow striped sweater with the sun on one side and raindrops on the other. It was weird. Once I got started, I couldn't stop. All these ideas came tumbling out. And you'll never guess. He's paying me £500 per design. Can you imagine? And that's just for starters. There might be all sorts of spin-offs. Anna seems spinning herself, circling way above our heads. Dad is staring at her as if any minute now she'll whiz out of the window and up into the wide blue yonder.